Story. Yes, tell it. Bring your ears like open calabashes and your hearts like evening fires. This is a tale of shade and shine, of cloth and courage, of a shop that forgot the sun is also dark, and a designer who remembered that midnight is a color too. In Makonda City, at a bridal shop called Ivory Vale, a young woman is told, "Your skin is too dark for a white dress." Laughter sneaks between lace and glass, but word travels faster than scorn. A master designer hears it, and the loom of destiny begins to hum. If this tale touches your spirit, like so the drum carries it farther, share to spread pride like morning light, and comment your city. Plus time, e.g. Abeokuta, 6:47 p.m., so the griot knows where and when you are listening. The day the mirrors lied. They say every market has a sky, and every sky has a memory. On the day our story woke up, Makonda City rubbed its eyes with sun. The roads were already busy, okadas darting like blue fish, hawkers balancing pyramids of oranges, and a brass band practicing a love song that kept forgetting its last note. Naya Okonkwo walked with her mother, Mama Ugo, and her cousin Temi, toward a shining store with letters as pale as boiled yam, Ivory Vale Bridals. The door chimed like a polite bell. Inside, mannequins stood like quiet cousins, wearing lace that looked like sea foam. Naya's skin was the color of rainy night earth, rich, complete, a page where the stars loved to write. Her hair was wrapped in indigo, her smile steady like an elder's hand. She had come to try gowns for her wedding to Cheek, a teacher who collected books like some people collect coins. He once told her, "The night taught me to read. I want to marry the night that taught me." A young attendant floated forward. Her name tag said, Pearl. She smiled the way some people hold umbrellas, only for themselves. "Welcome," Pearl sang. "What silhouette do you like? Ball gown, mermaid, or perhaps some champagne color to soften your tone?" Naya blinked. "I want white," she said. "The kind that looks like a promise." Pearl's smile wrinkled. Of course, it's just, on some complexions, ivory is kinder. White can be harsh on darker brides." Temi coughed. The cough that meant thunder was practicing. Mama Ugo squeezed Naya's hand. Another attendant wandered over, whispering as if gossip were incense. "We could also contour the chest area. Sometimes on deep tones the camera needs help." "Ayan," Pearl said brightly. "And there is a salon down the road with lightning facials. Harmless, just 2 shades. Our brides love it." A small laughter floated from the counter, where someone was filing receipts and polishing opinions. It sounded like the scrape of a dull knife on a good yam. The mirrors on the walls kept quiet, but they felt ashamed. Naya lifted her chin. "Please bring white," she said, voice a gentle drum. "The color of cola nuts we break at weddings. The color of waves that bless canoes, the color my grandmother wore when she danced for rain." Pearl shrugged and vanished into the forest of tulle. She returned with a gown that glittered like a gossiping river. "Try this," she said. "Let's see if it helps." In the changing room, the lace was cold. Temi zipped the gown. Mama Ugo tied the indigo wrap tighter around Naya's hair so the light would sit well on her crown. When Naya stepped out, the shop grew full of sky. Her shoulders curved like the first line of a praise song. The dress did not make her beautiful, it only remembered. Pearl's mouth smiled, but her eyes did not. She said. "Perhaps the interior lighting is fighting her undertone. Let's try off-white." Timi's thunder cough returned. "Sister, which interior is fighting? The light or your eyes?" A supervisor appeared, Madame Dahlia wearing perfume that smelled like last year's rain. "What seems to be the matter?" Pearl angled her body as if staging a whisper for an audience. "We're advising her toward champagne. For white to work on her skin, it must be heavily edited later." "Our brand aesthetic," Madame Dahlia nodded like a goat at the fence. "Exactly. Our pages are curated. We can't have images that don't fit." The mirrors, unable to bear such lies, invited a slant of sunlight through the high window. It landed on Naya's cheek, and her skin answered with a glow the mirrors had been saving for a true day. Still, the women of lace refused to see it. Madame Dahlia clicked her tongue. We also discourage head wraps. They look ethnic in photos. Our brides prefer a more universal look. Which universe? Temi asked. Because in mine the sun is dark before dawn and nobody sues it. Pearl giggled, then remembered she wasn't supposed to, and turned it into a cough. Other customers began to notice. A girl in a lilac dress whispered, "She's so beautiful, why are they?" Her friend shushed her with eyes that knew trouble can multiply when called by its name. Madame Dahlia's voice sharpened. "If you will not take our guidance, we will have to pass on your business. The Ivory Veil has standards." Naya felt the wind go out of the room. She heard her grandmother's proverb, "When a calabash says the river is shallow, show it the moon it cannot hold." She untied her indigo head wrap, folded it twice, and placed it on the counter. Soft, not surrender. She turned to the staff. "My skin is not a defect your brand must fix. My head wrap is a story your windows forgot to read. If your standard cannot fit my shade, let your door not fit my feet." She began to walk away. "Madam, you cannot leave in our gown," Pearl said, suddenly very practical. Temi hissed modestly. Mama Ugo stood like a tree that has decided to live through dry season. Naya returned to the changing room, carried her clothes out, and dressed without noises. On her way past the last mannequin, a small voice behind the counter whispered, "I'm sorry." It came from a seamstress with needle-pricked fingers, Auntie Halima, who knew cloth better than managers know mirrors. She pressed a business card into Naya's hand. "Please, just in case." Outside, the sky had shifted a little, as if making space for justice to sit comfortably. Across the road, in a cafe where lemon drinks argue with sugar, a woman lifted her head. She wore a tape measure like a necklace and brown-framed glasses that could see tomorrow. Sewa Adeyemi, the most whispered name in Makonda fashion, paused her sketch. She had been drawing a gown called Moon on River. From her seat, she had watched the shop's window drama without sound, the way a hunter reads a bush. "The mirror lied," she murmured. Her assistant Kiki leaned in. "Auntie Sewa." "The mirror lied," Sewa repeated. "But the light told the truth. Do you know the girl?" Kiki shook her head. "Find her." "How?" Sewa smiled. "The city is a radio. Ask one vendor, and you will hear 3 songs." Within an hour, the city had done what cities do when they are proud of themselves. A fish seller pointed to an Okada man. The Okada man pointed to Auntie Halima. Auntie Halima pointed to a number on a card. When Sewa called, Mama Ugo answered with a voice like strong tea, warm, bracing. "My daughter is resting," she said. The shop poured pepper into her day. "Who is calling?" "I am a tailor," Sewa said simply. "I would like to sew the day back." Silence, the kind that decides who it wants to be. Then Mama Ugo said, "Come, we are at number 12 Mbali Crescent. Bring your best eyes." Sewa went, carrying nothing but a sketchbook and respect. She found Naya on the veranda, feet bare, indigo head wrap folded like a sleeping bird beside her. The house smelled of palm oil and forgiveness. She looked up, and Sewa saw what the mirrors had refused, a face that made white feel like a true thing, not a rule. "Good afternoon," Sewa said. "I watched a shop try to measure you with a short tape." Naya almost smiled. "They said white would fight me." "White fights something only when it forgets whose page it lives on," Sewa said. "I design a line called Night Teaches the Sun. I have been searching for its muse. If you permit, I would like the garments to learn from your shade." Temi clapped once, a sound like a promise. Mama Ugo's eyes became small rivers. Naya held the indigo cloth in her lap and thought of her wedding day, how she wanted it to smell like rain and sound like roasted corn and look like a new proverb finding its feet. She nodded slowly. "If we do this, we do it our way. No bleaching, no 2 shades lighter, no apologies." Sewa bowed slightly, the way tailors bow to first cloth. "No apologies," she said, "only praise." The city stretched, pleased with its posture. Somewhere, a drum remembered an old rhythm. Somewhere, a bridal shop discovered that silence has splinters. The drum says, "Don, don, don." The moon replies, "Begin, begin, begin." Indigo women and the lore of cloth dawn arrived in blue sandals, tiptoeing past curtains. At Sewa Studio, the day began with the sound of fabric talking. Silk, whispering, Aso okay, humming, Organza asking too many questions. Kiki brewed ginger tea and laid out swatches like blessings. On the wall, a phrase made from bent copper wire read, "The night is also light." Naya entered hesitantly, wearing her indigo wrap again, anchored like a sail. Temi danced in behind her, filming with a cousin's pride. Mama Ugo followed, carrying a bowl of puff-puff, because tailors sew better when sugar knows their names. "Welcome to the House of Cloth," Sewa said. "Here we will let your skin choose its whites." "Whites?" Naya asked. Sewa waved at a rack, snow white, shell white, chalk white, and whites with secrets. Eggshell with a breath of blue, milk with a shade of moon, salt that still remembers the sea. She held a strip of silk to Naya's cheek, then another and another, the way a healer tries herbs on a stubborn fever. "See," she said, placing 2 swatches side by side. "This white makes the camera work hard. It reflects like gossip, but this white—" She lifted the moon white with its whisper of blue. "This one drinks the light and gives it back like a proverb." Naya looked in the mirror, and for the first time that week the mirror behaved. It did not ask her to be less. It asked her to be. In a corner, Auntie Halima, poached by Sewa the day before with a salary and respect, threaded a needle and smiled. "Let us show those mannequins who their mother is." They draped, they pinned, they argued gently with a bodice that wanted to be too proud. Sewa sketched lines that could carry blessings across shoulders. The gown grew from paper to breath, a dye-dyed silk for lining. So the secret inner blue will greet your skin first. Hand-woven Aso-OK panels that caught light like wise eyes, organza sleeves like fog on a river at dawn. The veil, not a hostage sheet, but a cloud embroidered with tiny cowries. By noon, the studio door released a soft knock. 2 women walked in, one with a camera, one with a notebook. They introduced themselves, Como and Zara, from a small online magazine name that sounded like a song, Melanin and Markets. "We heard the story," Como said. "We are interviewing designers who celebrate dark skin without turning it into a trend. May we watch?" Sewa glanced at Naya, whose eyebrow asked a question. "Only if I am not a specimen," Naya said. "You are subject, not object," Zara replied. "We know the difference. We tell stories where the woman keeps her name." Sewa nodded. "Fine, but no photos with half-truth captions." They began to talk of dyes and history. Sewa spoke of indigo women by the river, who sang to cloth as if it were a stubborn child. Auntie Halima spoke of her grandmother's loom and how the moon taught her fingers to count. Naya spoke of being told since childhood that she was too night, and how the night had never asked for an apology. Como asked, "What will you call this gown?" Naya held the moon-white swatch against her wrist and smiled. "Salt at midnight, because salt is white, but we measure it by taste, not by tone." Temi cheered like a stadium that knows the goal was beautiful. While they worked, Makonda City did what cities do. It chewed on rumors and swallowed conclusions. Ivory Vale posted a photo of champagne gowns with a caption, "Our signature palettes flatter all brides." The comments were not kind. Someone wrote, "All means all, not some, but not night." Someone else posted a proverb, "If your mirror only reflects ghosts, buy a new mirror." By evening, HR Legal from the shopping plaza where Ivory Vale lived sent a round memo to tenants about non-discrimination and customer dignity. It included a line that made even glass blush. "No staff shall recommend skin lightening as a condition of service." Words can be small spears when sharpened correctly. Sewa's phone buzzed, a message from a number that hid behind etiquette. "Madam Dahlia, we would like to apologize privately to the bride. Perhaps offer a discount." Sewa replied with a tailor's needle. "Apology is a public dress. Discounts are small hats. Learn to sew better." She put the phone face down and returned to stitching. As the sun lowered, the studio became a story pot. Kiki put on high life. Mama Ugo told the tale of Onaedo, the woman who refused to trade her shadow for perfume. Temi live-streamed 1 minute with Naya's consent. The comments poured like palm wine. "I see me in this. My daughter needed this. Give us the launch date. We will wear our deepest shades." When the first fitting was complete, Naya stepped onto a small wooden box. The gown did not swallow her, it framed her. The organza breathed. The aso oke sang under the silk like a drum remembered. The moon white, the moon white, laid itself gently against her skin and asked only to be allowed to witness. Sewa circled slowly, a priest in the temple of thread. We will finish the hem with a whisper of silver adire, barely visible, like the line where sea kisses shore. Naya's eyes softened. My grandmother would have danced for this. Call her, Sewa said. Let her bless the stitch. They called. On speakerphone, the old woman's laughter came through like rain on zinc. I told you, child, she said. The night is a jealous beauty. It keeps its own light. Wear it, and your feet will not miss the road. They slept that night like people who know the loom is still weaving as they dream. The drum says, tun, tun, tun. The moon replies, grow, grow, grow. The runway where night marries white. A week later, the city received an invitation with edges that glowed. Sewa Adeyemi presents Night Teaches the Sun, a small show for a big lesson. The venue was the old customs house, now reborn as a hall where memories and futures greet each other. On the day, the hall hummed with breath. Chairs faced a runway made from polished wood, the kind that turns footsteps into music. On both sides, candles sat in small clay cups, guarded by aunties with fans. In the front row, editors balanced cameras, elders balanced wisdom, and a few sly rivals balanced envy with compliments, because fashion is also politics, and politics loves a soft chair. Backstage, Sewa's team moved like practiced rain, not too fast, never late. Auntie Halima checked seams. Kiki placed cowries at the corners of the mirror. Naya stood still while the veil settled around her like a patient cloud. Are you ready? Sewa asked. Naya touched the bodice, the aso-oke panels that looked like the quiet between two drums. She touched the lining, the secret indigo. She touched the veil, cowries whispering small prayers. Yes, she said, I am ready to teach the sun. The show began with a story voice, Griot Atto telling a poem. Some say light is one thing, but the baobab says, come, count my shadows. When night opens her calabash, the stars drink and sing. And the bride? She is the road where day and night agree. First model, a silk sheath called Starpath, dotted with mica like secret constellations. Second, palms in eclipse, a two-piece with woven palm motifs that turned when the wearer turned. Third, milk in indigo bowl, a high-neck column that trailed a thought into the future. Each model wore skin like a library, pale, medium, deep, and deeper. Each shade wore whites chosen to honor it, as if white were a set of verbs, not a noun. People's eyes widened. Editors stopped taking notes and just watched, the way you stop counting when the song is right. Then the music softened into a rhythm you could carry in your pocket all day. Griot Atto lifted his staff. And now, he said, the gown called salt at midnight. Naya stepped out. A hush fell, the kind that lets your own heartbeat introduce itself. The moonlight did not glare. It glowed as if it had learned manners. The organza sleeves caught light and tamed it. The aso-oke panels drew lines that remembered villages and airports at once. The veil floated like forgiveness. Naya did not rush. She walked like a proverb arriving. She did not tilt her chin high. She let the gown find its own weather around her. In her hands she carried nothing. She did not need flowers. Her skin was already a garden. Someone in the back row began to cry and laughed at the same time. A young photographer lowered his camera because sometimes lenses blink too slowly for truth. Even the candles seemed to sit up straighter. When Naya reached the end of the runway, she turned. Not a dramatic spin, but a slow, sure arc that showed the room its own reflection. Then she stopped. She lifted her veil briefly and looked out, directly, like a question that knows the answer. On one side, Madame Dahlia sat, oh yes, she had come, invited by Kiki with the note, "Come learn." Dahlia's face wore a mask that was learning to be skin. She did a small thing that mattered. She clapped, not for herself, for the lesson beating her chest like a small drum asking to be let in. After the finale, Sewa led Naya out again hand in hand, the way designers hold their muses when both know the cloth did the preaching. The applause rose and softened, like waves that know the rocks they love. Backstage became a small festival. Como and Zara from Melanin and Markets hugged Naya lightly, careful of seams. Elders blessed. Young designers took notes on how to stitch praise into policy. Auntie Halima muttered prayers for needles everywhere to be promoted to pens. In a corner, a woman approached Naya, shy and shining. "My name is Ihi," she said. "I came because last week at a shop they told me to try rose gold to fix me. Today I saw myself unfixed. If you don't mind, may I borrow your language when I push back?" Naya smiled. "Take all the words you need, add some too." A man with a lens, Kwaku, asked for a portrait. "No edit?" he asked. "No filter." "No filter," Naya said. "Let the truth do its own makeup." He took the photo. Later that night it traveled like a lantern through the internet, and people who needed it found light on their faces. Days passed with the calm of satisfied cloth. Orders came, not just for gowns, but for consultations, brides who wanted whites that spoke to them in their own dialects. Sewa added a simple line to her website: "We fit the dress to the woman, not the woman to the fear." And Ivory Veil. They called a press conference. Madame Dahlia appeared with hands folded like guilty doves. She read from a paper that had learned respect overnight. "We acknowledge harm caused by comments that suggested some skin tones are not suited to white. That thinking is colonial dust and ignorant of the science of light and the art of dignity. We are sorry. We will retrain staff with designers and advocates. We will partner with local artisans to expand our shade literacy. We will never recommend skin lightening. Our mirrors will be changed, literally and morally." Some rolled their eyes. Too late, perhaps. Some accepted. Naya shrugged. "Let them learn," she told Temi. "The river makes room even for stones that used to trip it." On the wedding day, the church wore sunlight. Chike stood at the altar, eyes already full. When Naya entered in salt at midnight, even the choir forgot the first line and found a better one. The priest smiled and whispered to the book, "Let us keep this page. After vows, after cola nuts, after uncle jokes and auntie corrections, after dancing that taught the floor new verbs, Naya and Chiki slipped away to the courtyard where the almond tree kept gossip like a diary." "Do you know what I see?" Chiki asked. "My gown?" Naya teased. He shook his head. "No, I see you. My library where the night wrote me back." She leaned into him. "I see you too. My daylight that does not shout." From the gate, the sound of children's feet. From the road, the hymn of a passing hawker. From the sky, a cloud shaped like an old woman's laughter. Somewhere, Sewa and Auntie Halima were already sketching a new line. Daughters of the Indigo. In their minds, they could see a runway under a mango tree, cowries on a veil, and a sentence stitched on every hem. "When the night marries white, the color is called home." The drum says, "Don, Don, Don." The moon answers, "Remember, remember, remember." Short CTA, again so the chorus stays sweet. If this tale gave you pride, like so the beat travels, share to bless another mirror, and comment your city plus time, e.g. Kumasi, 8:21 p.m. with one line about a shade you love on your skin.